Which one is zero dimensional, which one is one dimensional, which one is two dimensional, which one is three dimensional. If you will see these figures, you will say that this is zero dimensional, this is one dimensional, this is two dimensional, and this is three dimensional. But if I talk in reality, all these answers are wrong except this one. This is also 3D, this is also 3D, and this is also 3D. There is nothing like zero dimension, one dimension, two dimension in the real universe. But since your childhood you were drawing this as zero dimension, this as one dimension, this as two dimension, this as three dimensional. But why am I saying that there exists no zero dimension, no one dimension, and no two dimension? I have quite few explanations for it. Let me explain it. When I had drawn this dot, what do you think? Is it zero dimensional? No. Why? Because clearly it has some area. So is it two dimensional? No. It has very slight amount of thickness, very minute, but a minute value is not zero, hence it is three dimensional. When I drawn this line, we all have been taught that this is one dimensional, but in reality it has a length, it has a very small width, the width of this marker, and it has some thickness, a very minute thickness, but it has some thickness, so it is also three dimensional. And similarly this also has three dimensions, and we know that this is three dimensional as such. Okay, so what's my point over here? My point is that you cannot draw zero dimension, one dimension, two dimension in a 3D universe. And let me clarify your childhood misconception. When we say that this is zero dimensional, we actually mean it is approximately zero dimensional. When we say that this is one dimension, it is approximately one dimension. Similarly, this also. There is nothing in this universe that is one dimension or zero dimension or two dimensional. It is practically impossible to draw physically real such dimensions. We can never draw a physically real 0, 1 or 2 dimensional being or any object. You can never think about these dimensions in a 3D universe, because whatever you draw, it always has some volume, some space, it occupies some space. So how can I make you all visualize 0 dimension, 1 dimension or 2 dimension? Well, I have a very simple solution. Assume 0 dimension as a location, as an exact location, like this. Of course it is still 3D, but you can visualize it like it is an exact location of a place. It should be of 0 size. From here, suppose this is A, to some point B, and any line joining these two points, these two 0 dimensional locations, is called a 1D. Of course it is still not 1D, it is still 3D, but to make you visualize, I will be drawing it like this. Okay, and suppose there is another location C over here. So from A to C, if you draw a line, you have drawn something which is two dimensional, and if you go outside this plane and you draw a dot over here, and if you try to connect them, then it is three dimensional. Of course all the dimensions in this figure were three dimensional, but to make you visualize, I was using this concept. Okay, so of course I should have drawn dots somewhere else, so let me draw over here. Suppose over here, so it is outside the plane. Okay, so like this. So this is what is the actual meaning when we say that this is 0 dimensional, this is 1 dimensional, this is 2 dimensional, this is 3 dimensional. We all are a three-dimensional being. We all live in a universe that is especially three-dimensional. So it is impossible, it is practically impossible, it is physically impossible to draw anything which is absolutely zero-dimensional, absolutely one-dimensional, absolutely two-dimensional. Because anything which exists in this universe should have some space, should occupy some space. It should have some volume. It is impossible to have a zero volume figure in this universe. When I draw this dot, it also has some volume. Clearly it has some volume. When I draw this line, it also has some volume. When I draw this curve, it also has some volume. It also has some volume. So that is what we mean when we draw a zero-dimensional figure or a one-dimensional figure or a two-dimensional figure in 3D world. And it is a very common misconception that this is exactly zero-dimensional, this is exactly one-dimensional, and this is exactly two-dimensional. That is clearly a nonsense thing. This is what exactly mathematicians mean when they say that this is zero-dimensional. They are actually saying that it is approximately zero-dimensional, this is approximately one-dimensional, this is approximately two-dimensional. Now you understood. Practically, it is impossible. I am again repeating, it is impossible to draw such things. Only 3D thing is possible in this universe. So does it mean in a 1D universe, if the universe was one-dimensional, then zero-dimensional would be impossible to draw? Yes. You can never draw anything which has exact zero size. Because if in a 1D universe you draw a zero size figure, it will have zero length. And to be present in that universe, that object must have some length. Similarly, if you go to a two-dimensional universe, for any object or figure to exist in that universe, it must have some area. So a one-dimensional figure cannot exist there. So for the existence of any object in this 3D universe, it must occupy some space, it must have some volume. Approximately zero doesn't mean that it is exactly zero. That is the concept of limits. And that is the end of this misconception. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please do like, share, subscribe, and please support this video.